Thank you so much for all of the copious amounts of love and support y'all have given me since my comeback about the Brian Patrick Miller case in Phoenix, Arizona. Arizona being my new state. Thank you so much. That video took, I know y'all heard that, and I'm so sorry. Well, we got a new mic, so she's gonna pick up everything. She's gonna pick up every little sound, so hopefully that wasn't too terribly off-putting. Anyways, that Brian Patrick Miller video was a huge labor of love, and yes, I still have more content coming in regards to that case, because there's a lot, and I've been a bit of an armchair detective about the whole thing for several months, and it's super interesting and wild, and yeah, I can't wait to share the rest of it with you all and provide case updates. I'm still watching the trial closely, and it's got me like scratching my head a little bit, but I'll share that with you all very soon. I feel like I'm gonna be a little bit of a bull in a china shop with this mic, even though Mythbusters proved that bulls are very graceful, but you get where I'm going with that. Yeah, so bear with me in this situation, but I hope the tingles are just chef's kiss and worth it. I have been wanting to get a mic like this for a long time, and I just hope it sounds really good, and I hope it's super tingly and you're super comfortable and cozy right now and just really enjoying this. I have a whole new setup going on here that I'm getting used to, and it's probably going to change several more times before I get it completely right. I have a new camera situation that I'm still figuring out as well. I'm trying to look into it and not look here, there, and everywhere. So thank you for the patience and understanding with all of that. And we're going to try some blue lighting, blue, and we'll see how it looks. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll try a bunch of different colors and see what one we like the most. That was the main housekeeping thing that I wanted to get right out of the way, but I do also want to remind you all about the Patreon, well, not the Patreon, about Patreon, and how it is still $1, basically a donation to the channel at this point. I have not uploaded anything new, but if you've never contributed to the Patreon before and just want some extra content from me, it's a great time to head over there for $1, support the channel, and you'll have access to, I believe there's 12 videos that you've never seen before. So hopefully that feels worth it, at least until I figure out a future cadence and how I want Patreon to look for the future. But with that comes with consistency and a proper cadence, and I want to do that right. So we're holding off on that for now. So if you've never been, head on over. And thank this up and running, the monitors, the mics, the whole thing. And yeah, it all goes back into doing this. So thank you. And just want to take a moment to do a big shout out to the most amazing partner in the world, and that is my Marisa, who, as you all know, has been such a huge support in all of this, and she is the reason that you see this. She did this, and I thank her so much for that and her support. And she's really, she's always looking out for you all, and she's always like really just pushing me to sit down and film, and pushing me to research, and pushing me to really dive deep into the ASMR witch and keep the momentum going. She's always looking out for you all. She always has your back, always. And yeah, so thank you, Marisa. We love you. We appreciate you. You're the best. She's the best. I'm very, very lucky, and you all are too, because she is really always looking out for you. She literally just said something earlier and was like, you need to go film for them. You need to film for them. So she's a good one. With all that aside, I don't know how long I've been filming at this point. Good God. I'll probably try to put some sort of timestamp when the actual video starts in this. I just was really excited to sit down and talk to you all. I also realize I don't have my glasses on. Like, who do I think I am? And now I'm wondering if I film without my glasses. I do sometimes, don't I? I feel all discombobulated right now. But yeah, so before I jump into this, I'm going to quickly take a sip of water because I've been feeling a little like dry today. One thing about that desert living, the dryness, so dry. Let me know what you all think of the mic. I hope that it's just picking good stuff up and it sounds really tingly, and I hope it sounds really good. So get cozy, because we're gonna jump into this. A month ago, I think it was around a month ago, I asked you all what you wanted to see for the next video, because I have a few cases to discuss, and I just had you pick which one. And it was pretty much most of you, more than half of you, picked the case, the bizarre death case. So we're gonna go for that. We're just gonna go for it. I have been wanting to cover I have been wanting to cover this case for a long time. I watched the documentary a few years back, and it just really stuck with me. I find it so eerie. I find it very bizarre. I find it interesting because I feel like a lot of people think that this is just very black and white, and it is what it was, and it's unfortunate. But there's something so eerie to me about it still, and something so odd still. So I feel like it is perfect for this bizarre death case. Is it true crime? Yeah. Sort of, I would say. And I know that a lot of YouTubers have covered this case before, non-ASMR artists and ASMR artists alike. It's been done and done and done and done. But I really wanted to talk about it. So, cozy up. It's story time. If you've heard this before, enjoy the tingles, enjoy my pause because I'm also really curious about the tingles, or the tingles, but like the sounds. Let me know what you think. I might just have to do a video of triggers, just playing with the mic and trying the mic out because I'm super curious and I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's get into it. We are going to talk about the very tragic 2009 Taconic State Parkway motor vehicle crash that killed 8 people. I believe still to this date, this is one of the worst motor vehicle accidents to have happened in that area still. This is about Diane Schuler and what happened to her family and another family on one Sunday afternoon. So the weekend had come to a close, and Diane Schuler was packing up her minivan that she had borrowed from her brother. They were packing up all of their clothing, all their camping supplies, her and her husband. And they had brought Diane's 3 nieces along with their 2 children and the family dog with them on this camping weekend, this fun-filled camping weekend. So Diane and Dan brought their son and daughter and their 3 nieces, Emma, who is 8, Allison, who is 7, and Katie, who is 5, and they had stayed at a campsite in Parksville, New York. This was located in the Catskills, or near the Catskills. No, I believe it was like in the Catskill area. And now, for whatever reason, they backed everything up, and Dan said, I'm gonna take the truck and I'm gonna take the dog and we'll all meet in Long Island, which was their home, later that day. So they left separately, like they left the campground, but like left separately because Dan knew that Diane was gonna stop off with the kids and get breakfast and maybe get gas, but he was just heading home. And I don't think there's anything malicious about this, but I do scratch my head about this because I feel like if, at least when I was younger and I went on trips and like there was a lot of kids, like it was like I want to go with this person and I want to go with this person, and he just kind of went by himself with the dog, and he didn't even, like, you all follow each other home, and they didn't follow each other home, which I just found kind of weird because I feel like that's something you just do, like just for fun and for safety, and you pass each other on the highway and goof around and you just travel together. Maybe it's not that odd, but I don't know, for me it seems odd. So they all began the trip to West Babylon in Long Island. Diane had stopped at a McDonald's and got the kids fed, got herself something to eat, and then stopped at a Sunoco gas station. Surveillance video shows Diane entering the store, kind of like goes in, looking around for something, and then goes to the counter and asks the clerk a question, and she leaves, heads to her car, and was searching for pain medication, and for whatever reason, this Sunoco didn't have any, or they were out of stock. I'm assuming they were out of stock because, I feel like most gas stations have those like little packets you can buy for like, I don't know, like, weren't they like $2 or something then? Like, it was like 2 doses. I'm assuming they were out of stock or something, but she seemed completely fine based on these surveillance videos. She then went to travel along Route 17, Interstate 86, and this is the New York Thruway. She entered a service area at one point and then crossed the Tappan Zee Bridge heading east. Witnesses would later come forward and report that a minivan around this time was driving aggressively, flashing lights, honking its horn, and weaving in and out of traffic, but also like riding 2 lanes of traffic, like taking up 2 lanes. Diane made a phone call to her brother around this time, and again, this was the father of her 3 nieces in the vehicle with her, and let him know that they were running a little bit late. They went to get food, and traffic was a little backed up, and it would take them a little bit to get home. Around this time, she was seen by witnesses, this would come forward later, on the side of the road with her hands on her knees, and it appeared that she was vomiting or getting sick or wanted to get sick. And then a few people would see this at like various areas around this time, around the New York State Thruway, would see a woman matching Diane's description, a red minivan, and looking like she was getting sick. At around 1 p.m., Diane's niece contacted her father. I'm imagining it was the oldest niece, and she said to her father, quote, "There's something wrong with Aunt Diane." She then told her father that her aunt wasn't speaking clearly. She couldn't see right, and she was like verbalizing this to the kids that like she couldn't see and she didn't feel good. So her father encouraged Diane to pull over and just stay there until he could get there and he could help them. He really did not want Diane driving. He was really nervous for his kids, his niece and nephew, and his sister. He then would make dozens of phone calls back to Diane's phone, but these would all go unanswered, and he would never receive a call back. In fact, Diane's phone later would be found on the side of the road on a guardrail where the first initial phone call that his daughter made to him was placed. At around 1:33 p.m. on this Sunday afternoon in 2009, a very sunny summer afternoon, 911 calls began to flood in, reporting a red minivan that entered the New York State Parkway going the wrong way. And not only was it going the wrong way, it was traveling at an incredibly high rate of speed, anywhere between 75 to 85 miles per hour or more. The van traveled south in the wrong direction for 1.7 miles until Chevy Blazer at 1:35 p.m. Now, two men who witnessed the crash responded immediately to attend to the people in the vehicles as smoke began to rise from the vehicles. One witness recalls when they removed Diane, she slumped and fell immediately to their feet, and they knew that she was dead. Beside her was a broken bottle of absolute vodka. The men that had stopped to help then noticed that there was a group of children in the back of this van, pretty much piled on top of each other, and they reacted quickly to try and save these children. The children, like I said, had all kind of like landed in this pile in the back of the van. And as they removed the children, they were just beside themselves. One niece was clinging to life. She was barely hanging on, and everybody else had been deceased until they found Diane and Dan's son, who pretty much the impact and the being in this pile with his nieces and his sister, with his cousins and his sister, pretty much had like saved his life. They like cushioned this little boy. He was severely injured, but he was alive. Later that day, Diane's niece would not make it, and she would die in the hospital. And Diane and Dan's son, Brian, would survive with broken bones and severe head trauma. He would be hospitalized for a few months and need to go through a lot of different types of therapy for mind and body. In the Chevy Blazer were three men: 81-year-old Michael Bastardi, his son, 49-year-old Guy, and their friend, 74-year-old Dan Longo, who had died at the scene. That was so unattractive. Oh my god, let me take a sip. Okay, so sorry about that. So these three men died immediately upon impact. They did hit another vehicle with this impact with the van, but the two individuals in that vehicle had minor injuries and got away very much unscathed. Could have been much, much worse. The scene was tragic, and so many people were wondering what exactly had happened. This was such a media frenzy. Witnesses recalled, in 2009, this was kind of the time where, phones, social media, cameras, recordings, we always had these things, a few years prior, of course, but technology was becoming more advanced, right? So more people were stopping, taking pictures, taking videos, and witnesses recalled that the paramedics and investigators needed to bring in sheets to kind of protect all of these victims from being filmed and photographed, because it was just that much of a media circus right away. And again, with everybody having phones being more of a thing, it was a big deal. And I do remember, like on the news when this happened, like seeing the sheets like being held up by like first responders and volunteers to like respect these families. And it was just such a gruesome scene. An investigation, of course, would follow, and it was concluded that Diane Schuler was heavily intoxicated, and she was also high, which caused it caused the New York State Thruway collision. This toxicology report came out on August 4th. Diane had a blood alcohol content of 0.19 with an additional 6 grams of alcohol in her stomach that had not been absorbed into her blood. And she also had high levels of THC in her system. So, in layman's terms, she was really fucked up. But the Schuler family immediately responded to this with complete dismay and shock. They were just as stunned and confused by the accident, and this report just made them even more shocked and even more stunned. And they didn't believe it for 1 second. On August 8th, Daniel Schuler and his attorney held a press conference that Diane would have never drank alcohol, especially have done that with a vehicle full of children. But she also had never taken a sip of anything or any illegal substances during their camping weekend. But we have this absolute vodka bottle, right? So, again, the family was saying that the toxicology report was completely incorrect, and they truly believed that there was some sort of bodily anomaly that could have taken place and happened to Diane. They believed that she had some sort of stroke, some sort of heart attack, some sort of brain aneurysm, something to have completely created this false toxicology report and to have created such a tragic scene and accident. When Daniel was confronted about this alcohol bottle in the car, he did say that, we did have a bottle of vodka that we kept at the campsite, for when we came to visit. She must have, accidentally packed it or just decided, well, I'll bring this home. But he stuck to his story that she hadn't consumed any of this. But then that would change, and he would later admit that, yes, they did consume alcohol that weekend together, but nothing in excess. They, were watching, several children, their own children, their nieces. They had a lot going on. They couldn't, really get drunk and party. They had to be adults. And the campground owner, who had seen Diane and the kids leave that day, even said she was completely sober. Anytime she'd seen her that weekend, she was sober, and she saw nothing wrong or weird or different or smelt anything on Diane. completely lucid, completely sober. And the McDonald's employees would even say that she was completely normal. Like, so normal, she was almost forgetful. She was just a normal woman, grabbing a bunch of, Happy Meals and breakfast meals for her kids, and traveling that morning home. So the Schuler family hires a private investigator, and the documentary goes more into this with the private investigator because things get really weird with him. I'm not gonna go too much into that. He's kind of like does the family dirty, but they hire him nonetheless to look into, everything. And after his interviews with family and friends, he saw no pattern of alcohol abuse or any sort of chronic issues, no signs of previous damage from, sustained use of, alcohol or THC or any of those things. Like, he did a deep dive and could not figure out what had happened either. Now, let me see. Sorry, I lost my place in my notes. Thank you for being patient. Okay, so Daniel and his attorney, again, were very persistent, and Daniel's sister as well is also very involved in this case as well. And again, they believed that Diane was driving erratically because of some sort of anomaly and possibly some sort of sudden, unexplainable medical emergency. Now, Diane did have an abscess tooth. The family was able to acquire this information through like dental records, and this could have created some sort of medical emergency. But again, the autopsy could not link that at all. In November of that year, the family raised enough money to have the tissue samples retested. Meanwhile, the family of the victims of the men in the Chevy Blazer were growing increasingly frustrated and upset that Daniel and his family were really trying to prove that Diane didn't do what she obviously did. She was obviously intoxicated, and Daniel painting this picture that Diane was a perfect mother and perfect wife kind of just really continued to perpetuate their grief and their pain, and really hurt them, and they grew very angry with this. They really just wanted Daniel to admit that his wife was drunk. His wife made a bad mistake, and just to admit the truth and, say sorry. And again, I don't go too much into this in my notes, but I did read in like several places that there was a lot of like legal back and forth with the family, like suing each other or wanting to sue each other and settling, and for all of the things that were taking place here. It would just create like a slew of lawsuits, right? But in the final investigation, the crash was ruled a homicide due to Diane's negligent driving and toxicology findings. The Westchester District Attorney announced they would file no charges in the incident because Diane Schuler, as they said, quote, died in the crash and the charges died with her. On July 26, 2011, the HBO documentary There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane would air, and it would really focus on Daniel and his sister looking into their own investigation as they try to find answers to prove that Diane did not do this. She would never have done this. But to no avail. Unfortunately, the investigators, the scientists that they communicate with in this documentary, really just upheld the reports. And it was not what the family wanted to hear at all. And it kind of like sucked to see that, because you're with them, you're like, wow, she would never do that, right? And you kind of expect there to be this almost like they're gonna find something, right? And they're gonna show that, she didn't do this, but they kind of are just like, sometimes you just don't know what's going on in people's heads, even if it's the people that you're laying right next to, you're married to for years, you have children to, sometimes with pain, grief, and, things that, mental illness, right? You just will never understand. And they all continued to uphold the reports. And nobody will ever truly know what happened that day, why Diane made the decisions that she did, and that is the most frustrating and most devastating part of this entire case. I find this case so interesting and so bizarre and just so odd from so many different angles. I actually had Marisa watch the documentary with me, and she was very much like, shit, she was strong, damn. I'm like, but why? It seems like such a huge choice to make that day, right? There's no previous patterns, none of this dirty laundry came out about previous DUIs or times she drove drunk or drove the kids to school drunk. None of that stuff came out. She made a really big and bad choice to do this and drive hours back to Long Island with a car full of children. I just think that's bizarre. And I do agree that sometimes we'll just never know and never understand truly what someone is going through so deep. And in the documentary, they really do discuss that, Diane was a very strong in charge person, but that, she, under that, probably more than likely had a lot of struggles and demons and things she didn't deal with. I just find it so wild, that she made those decisions. And what, was she going in to get pain meds because she was was she hung over, and was she trying to feel better? And did she think that drinking alcohol would make her feel better? There's so many different avenues of you could look at why she made that choice. I just wish and I know a lot of people do, I just wish I could figure out what was going on in her head that day, because it's so not logical, right? It's so bizarre, and we will never know. And that's very haunting, and I can't even imagine, like, the families of, like, everybody involved in this, right? But, like, her family, like, yes, you want to be like, okay, she was drunk, like, God, get over it. But I imagine that they have those same struggles and hauntings and eerie feelings that, like, I'm kind of battling with this, because, like, I know it happened, and I know what happened, and it's terrible, and such a fucking terrible, shitty thing to do. I guess I can maybe understand, I don't know if that's the right word, but, like, try to understand at least where they're like, what the fuck comes from with this, because who wants to believe that, especially if Diane had never shown anybody anything of this side of herself before. Like, that's gotta be, like, alarming and life-changing. I just have a lot of, like, feelings about that. Again, what happened. She made a terrible, terrible decision, and it killed children. It killed 3 innocent men that were traveling to, like, I believe they were going to a spaghetti dinner with family and friends for no reason, right? It's terrible. But it's odd. It's a little odd. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this case? It's definitely, and I know someone out there is like, yeah, I get what you're trying to say. It's really eerie. It's like, whoa, you think you know someone, and I think that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this. Is it's like that feeling of, like, you just never know sometimes. You never know. And my heart goes out to everybody involved in this, the family of the 3 gentlemen in the other vehicle, Diane's brother, who I'm sure him and his wife have been through a host of misery and pain because of this, family or not, right? I'm sure their lives are still to this day nightmarish. They lost all 3 of their children, and it was his sister that made this decision to be so reckless with his children and kill his children. Like, I don't know. I can't even imagine. I know I'm rambling, and I don't really ramble this much about, like, true crimey stuff, or, you know, cases like that. I guess I ramble a little bit, but this is one that always, like, has me scratching my head, and I'm always like, have you ever seen There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane? Like, you need to watch this documentary. Like, let me know what you think. And I'm, like, watching people, like, what do they think? Because, like, it happened, but it's weird. It's a weird feeling. And definitely, like, spoiler alert. Well, not spoiler alert, but, like, jump scare alert, or viewer discretion advised alert if you watch that documentary. Holy freaking shit. When I first watched it, I did not expect to see what I saw. I guess I won't ruin it for you, but they just very blatantly show you something, and you're kind of not expecting it, and it really just, like, gets you in the gut. First, I will never forget the first time I watched a documentary and that image came up on the screen. My heart fucking stopped and went into my ass. Like, I was like, whoa. It's alarming, it's jarring, it's thought-provoking, it's tragic. If you're looking for a new true crimey documentary situation to watch and haven't seen it, do it. guess I should probably stop rambling because we're probably going into an hour and you might have already fallen asleep at this point. But if you're still here, let me know what you think about this case, this whole situation. I mean, it is what it is, right? But it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And if you have any other cases, maybe like this, or, weird death, maybe, true crimey-ish, but like, did they do it type of thought-provoking, bizarre death situations like this? I guess I don't know what to call this. But if you have any other cases like this, or have heard of any other cases like this that you would love for me to cover here, I would absolutely do that. I would love to look into that, because I've been deep diving into the Diane Schuler case on and off for years. I always come back to it. I'm always like immersed in it and like, whoa. I'm actually thinking about reading the book. So Diane's brother's wife actually read a book, and I read a little blurb of it online where she's talking about what happened when they found out that their daughters were in this accident, and it got me in the feels a little bit. So I might read that book just because I'm very curious about their perspective and how they've persevered and endured through such a terrible thing. It's just wild. It's just wild. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I know this is a long one. Hopefully it's very tingly. And it's kind of really nice to just like ramble and chill with y'all and chat with you. I feel like this one was a